we saw that the contract advice is only based on 3 candles in a row going up, buy, 3 candles in a row going down, sell. That's not enough. It doesn't work. I tried it, I tested it, and because it was demo money, so no real money involved, I tested it, and although there were a lot of positions opened, it did not work. Hello, and welcome to, or welcome back to, my channel about the Nasdaq scalping bot. In this channel, I show you guys the progress about the Nasdaq scalping bot, how I created the bot, and also how I'm doing in hopefully making profit. The bot is created in Python. It's my first Python program, so I'm rather proud in what I've done. And if you want to join and see how this works, then you'll feel free to copy my code if you want to create it your own, but maybe if you want to see how it goes and join in on the bot itself. You never know how it goes. This is the last video in this series about how the bot works, and because it's the last video, it's only made for the ones who are actually coding along with my other videos, as in they need to have the full access, the full code to see how the bot actually, not how it works, but how it actually is completed. So this video is more about crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and let you see what else you need to make the bot a functional bot for you. If you didn't code along, you are free to follow and watch, but maybe it's not for you. Well, you made it through the intro, so it actually means that this video gonna get a view longer than 2 minutes. Most videos didn't get any more, so about more as 2 minutes means that you actually want to code with me, and I want to show you everything I didn't show you in the other videos and give some opportunity to adjust your code and do as I did. And to do so, I'm gonna do it step by step like I did in the other ones, but I'm gonna start with main, and then main window, then the contracts. I'm gonna move contracts up there. Then there is a fetch data with it, and the connection with it, and that's all the files you have right now. But you need to create one more file, and that file is called, I want to take it here, that file is called a CSV data. I know OBS doesn't show the menus, I don't know why, but I'm clicking at new, thank you, a new Python file called CSV data. That's a complete new file. I didn't discuss this in any of the other videos, so if you don't have it, don't be ashamed. It's new, and I'm gonna explain what's in it for this video, but that's for later on. Let's go back to the Main.py so you can see what's going on and adjust your code as I go through it again. This is the main code with the bot as it is when I started with it. It's not the actual main code for now, as it works now, because now I have a automatic starting button. I will show you how to create that one at the end of the video. But for now, this is how the code looks at the Main.py. We did this in the videos before this one. So if you didn't have all the code yet, then pause the video and you can type what you're missing. There's nothing new here. Only thing I want to do is start this print loop started into the bot has started. Instead of the loop, I'm just going to say the bot has started with an exclamation mark. It's not in the window, it's just within the Python file. If you have the code, then a short explanation. What happens? The code starts around here with if there is a name, then the main will do main, and the main loop or the main function is started. The main function does this. It configures a start button and it starts the window main loop, so it shows a display with the main loop, and from then on it goes to the start loop and the start button. It only works after the start button has been clicked, then this loop will be started. The loop: create a new session, get account information, get the start balance, and then while true, get a candle, a new candle, count the current candles. If the current candle counter is larger than 2, then set up a contract. If it's not, if it's not, do nothing, just wait, sleep 60 seconds, and then get the next candle until you have more than 2, and then go to fetch candle. Why I wait to get more than 2? Well, to create a contract, to activate the strategy, I use 3 candles, the current, the previous, and the older. So I need at least 3 candles before I go on with setting up a contract. So that's why I not go directly to setting up a contract, but first wait until I have 3 candles, then I go to setting up a contract. Set up a contract with the current array of candles. I need those, and the balance, and then we go to the contracts. Entering the contracts, we have this function, set up a contract. I'm going to give you, we're going to discuss it anyway. There are still some codes of lines of codes I did comment. I'm going to decomment those and explain what's going on and why they are. The first you see is I decommented the current time, and we need the current time. I get the current time for now, the current time. And what we do with the current time is check if the current time is larger or equal to the date time hour of 22 hours and 55 minutes, as in it is 5 to 11. And if the current time is smaller or equal to 10 past 12. Why? Well, at the final minutes before the market close, this time 22:55, there is a penalty. Is a great word, but you have to pay during the night if your position is still open at that point. And I'm going to show you what I mean. This is the trading platform I work with, capital.com, and there is a position open for 5 cents. Rather strange, only 5 cents. It should have been, yeah, okay, it was on its way to get larger or getting smaller, but there is a position open at Friday. So I wasn't home and my current bot does not check for the time because I'm struggling with summer and winter time. So there is some correction I need to do, but it doesn't happen often that exactly when the market closes for the weekend or closes for the night, that there is a position open. In this case, there actually is a position open. And if I'm gonna look at the reports, this one you see we have 92 cents in the overnight funding adjustment. I'm gonna scroll through it until I find an example, but not gonna video all this. So let me scroll through to find the other example. This is a good example. There was a position opened and the overnight funding adjustment was a plus 5 cents. And it was on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it actually is 3 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So during those 3 days, I earned 15 cents. That's not much, but because it was only a small position. When you have a 2 or 3, then you're talking about 5-6 euros just getting when a position, a short contract, a short position is open over the weekend. So that is why I added this current date time, and I'm still thinking about it if I should make it a bit more sassier, as in only when there is a buy position close. If it is a sell position, why close? It has no use, just brings profit. So that is this part. I'm gonna look at if we did miss anything else right here. No, then I will go all the way up and we're gonna do something else for you. First, because I know we're gonna need it, we're gonna add an import of NumPy as NP. NumPy is a calculator, which, it's not a calculator, it's a calculating library with extensive calculation functions to assist you in your coding as you need to do some calculation without inventing a new wheel again. And we're going to need the NumPy in 2 new functions I'm going to show you now. And those those 2 functions, we use them 3 times, 3 usages. Those 2 functions are calculate EMA and calculate MACD, and the MACD 26 I called it. Those 2 functions, I will leave it on, press pause if you need to. Those 2 functions I use to make my strategy work better. Because if we look to the contract advice, we saw that the contract advice is only based on 3 candles in a row going up, buy, 3 candles in a row going down, sell. That's not enough. It doesn't work. I tried it, I tested it, and because it was demo money, so no real money involved, I tested it, and although there were a lot of positions opened, it did not work. And that's why I created these 2 functions. It's 2 functions, but it's only one, to calculate MACD. But to calculate MACD, you need to calculate the EMA also several times. So to calculate the MACD, I also needed to calculate the EMA. And those 2 functions create a MACD line, a MACD signal line, and a MACD histogram. And this is an indicator that I used to have in my other bot, in my first bot, and fetched it from the broker. but in the API version, I cannot get this MACD information. So I have to calculate it myself. And to use this, I say in my contract advice, let me show you the new and the latest code of the contract advice, because yeah, we're talking about it, so why shouldn't I show you? Let me fetch the new strategy, and only you can know this because you are the one who watched this video, so make your bot even more profitable. And let me fetch this. Then you see that in the new strategy I use the criteria that the MACD should be larger than the signal line for a buy, and the MACD should be smaller than the signal line when we're talking about a sell. That's why I needed the MACD. Another thing you'll see right here is the session histogram. It should be larger than 4 for a buy, and a session signal line should be smaller than 0. Those two are not each other's opposites, but two different criteria. And if you want to know why, I have another video in which I explained why we use this kind as criteria based on the logs I created in the last week. And that's the last part of this video, is creating the log. And I want to show you that one too, because we had some logging. In the handle new contract, there is log the contract start we need, and in the handling an existing contract, that's after the status check, we also have a log contract end, a log contract end, and somewhere down there is another log contract end. No, oh yeah, 3, but wait. Handle existing in the status check. There is also a log contract end together with calculate new profit. Yeah, calculate new profit. There it is. Calculate new profit and log contract. Calculate new profit and log contract. Yes, those are the ones you need. Calculate a new profit balance and log your contract. Let's put in the first one, because this is calculation. Let's bring in the calculate new contract function first. There we have calculate new profit balance. And the function of this function is to calculate the exact difference between before and after the contract. And why do I need this? Well, with the contract logging end, the log contract end, I want to know what the profit was, and if it was a loss, if it was a take profit or a stop loss, I want to know what it was and how much it was. And that will be logged in a separate file, so I can evaluate and analyze this information if my strategy works, and if it works, or if it doesn't work, how should I adjust it. So I needed those information and logging everything. And to do so, we go to the new file CSV data, which is still empty in your case, and I will fetch the code for you so you can do it along with me. And wham, there was a large piece of code coming in. We started with import CSV and import OS. Those two we need to communicate with the operating system to create a CSV file. So those two we need. Then you need a contract cache. That's the cache in which we store temporarily the row we want to store in the CSV. And then we start with this first function, and this first function is the contract start. There is a contract opened. We send along some session values, and those session values should be stored in the CSV because I needed them to analyze my trades. And those are the balance, the current candle, the previous candle, and the oldest candle, a buy or sell, the MACD, the signal line, the histogram, if it was a profit, and the current status was open, is open. Those information I gonna store in my CSV. That's all. And if I want more, if I need more, then I just adjust this code. But for now, this was all I needed. The MACD, the signal line, the histogram, and the 3 candles. That's enough for me. If so, this is the contract ID, the contract row. Append that row to the CSV. And that's the next function. And the function is calling append contract to CSV. If a file exists, and the operating system checks if that contract data CSV exists. If not, then there will be a new file created. And if not, then there will be an appending. With the open contract, CSV mode A, append, add a new line, and the new line is still empty as a file. So if there is something, then open the file, open the file to get new information, add to it. And what should it be at is the writer writes the file. CSV writer is the function to add a new information. If there is not, the file is not yet created, then the first time the file is created, then there will be a row with these headers: contract ID, balance, current candle, previous candle, oldest candle, buy sell, EMA 26, which should be MACD, because we're talking about the MACD here and about there, so it's the MACD, the signal line, the histogram, the profit loss, and the status. The same thing we store, we create up here, the contract ID plus all the other stuff is the same thing we're gonna put in the header of our CSV. The actual contract is right here. The contract data is the cache we created, contract ID, and then the balance, the current candle, previous candle, all those will be stored in this row. And by doing this, I get a nice overview of all the contracts that the bot did, and if they were profitable, and if they were a loss. And based on that info, I can do my analysis and adjust my strategy. If the contract ends, at the end of the contract, we have this function. This function has the log contract end. It does not much. It gets the final profit and the final status as in as in profit or loss, or profit 10 or loss 10. Those two will be added to the cache. You see those two are right here. And then from this function, it goes to the updating of the contract. And that's the final part of this file. It's updating the contract. And how it does the updating? Well, it gets an empty row. And then it opens the contract file in a read mode, mode R. Read it out. Then for each row in the reader, look if the first item in the row is the same as the contract ID. If it is the same ID, then change the values of the profit loss and the status. That's items 9 and 10 in the row, and then append the row again, and with the contract mode right, the entire row section will be stored again. And so the contract data is updated. How does this look in actual working? I don't have an example ready, no. So I'm going to fetch an example for you. There, the actual file is the contract data.csv. It's a CSV. It looks like a lot of, but the first one is the contract ID. So it looks like a strange numbers, but this is the contract ID. Then after the comma, you see the balance. Then we see the candle, the current candle, the previous candle, and the oldest candle. Then we see if it's a buy or sell, a buy. And we see the MACD line. It's a half, 0.5. We see the signal line, that's a minus 0.3. We see the histogram, it's an 8. We see the final profit, 74 cents. Wow, and it actually was a profit. So we can see a lot of information about this, and the bot does this for you, and that's quite handy because I used to look at every position myself and write it down and then make an analysis, and then I didn't even wait to make an analysis after what this is, 100 or 180. I started my analysis at 15 or 20, and then it did work, but you need to adjust a lot more. So the bot does this for me. It's a lot better. So back to this file. Now we do have everything. You have all the code you need. I was thinking about something, because in the contracts, the log contract, we need to add these to the contract as available. So we're gonna from CSV data import, type correctly, from CSV data import log start and import the log contract end. Those two you need to. And then there should be something like a session variable, because we had a lot of sessions and I don't see the session variable. It should be right up here. It's rather large parts of code, so it's not easy to miss. Let me fetch that part too, and then we are complete. And this is that part about the session, all the session, and it has to be a dictionary with who is able to store anything I throw at it. So either it's a string or Boolean or an integer, or another string. Why do I have two strings up here? Or a float. So string, Boolean, integer, string. Why do I have two strings? That's not necessary. This is good enough. So a string, a Boolean, integer, or float. Those are the ones you need. And these are all the default settings for each and every session there is. Because Python's gonna nag if the int number candles is not present, then it will say it's none, and it cannot compare an integer with a none, and you get a failure, and then you have an error, and you think, why do I have an error? And to prevent all those, just create a session variable with every session variable you need and put them up there in the global position, and then you don't have that kind of troubles again. There is a positive check, consecutive positive checks. I don't think we use that one. I cannot remember reviewing the code that I use anywhere the consecutive positive checks. Let me take a look if I use, oh, look, we gotta find. Control C, find one. Okay, it's the only one, yeah. So we don't use this one. By array fetch candles, I know, and the MACD list, I know we need. So there was some piece of code we didn't need. Yes, this you have, that is this, this, and this. You have all, wait, let's go down through it slow. So if you don't have anything, you can press pause when needed. So I go slowly down to the entire contract file. And I don't see any comments that there shouldn't be a comment. Set up a contract. Yes, the final one. Yes. Okay. Looking at fetch data, that's nothing new. We did already handle. We already discussed this function, so nothing new there. Whoa, the connection. This one. The connection, I already discussed that one too. The globals with all the other, the requests, the fetch, the account details, etc., etc. So this is nothing new too. But if you did miss something, I scrolled through it in a slow way, so you have the time to press pause if needed. That was the entire bot. If you need any more information from me about the bot or something doesn't work like it is, reach for me at Twitch. I went there every weekday. You can reach me at my Discord channel too. I will leave the link to the Discord in the description. And you also can leave a comment if you want to. But if you actually have problems, try to reach me at my Twitch or at my Discord, because there's a two-way communication possible. So that's better than just leaving a comment in the YouTube movie. If you learned something, if you enjoyed this video or this series of videos, please leave a like for the video. And if you want to see the rest, how it's progressing, how I'm making this bot hopefully more and more profitable, press subscribe, and maybe we will talk to each other in Twitch or on the Discord channel. For now, have fun.